Alright everyone, FUTV news on the go. No, we're not in the studio today, still out and about, but bringing you your Manchester United news. And two stories that I have picked up on that really do intrigue me, which is the Garnacho and Malacia. Malacia to the Saudi Pro League. Garnacho has interest apparently from ESPN on their reports from Bayern Munich. Now, I mean, let's start with Garnacho. I've said this all along. Do get your comments in as well if you think any of these stories are realistic. I'll give you my point on it and the details of the actual story as we go forward here on this video. But my point on Garnacho has always been that he is the key to this window for Manchester United, and they do need to sell him. Now, I don't want to sound like a sourpuss here and sort of kill everyone's hopes that Garnacho all of a sudden, because Rob Dawson's ESPN is reporting that Garnacho is attracting interest from Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich need wide players. Bayern Munich have obviously sold Sane, and obviously we've seen the injury to Musiala from the Club World Cup as well. So we know for certain that Bayern Munich are up for forwards. Obviously, they've got enough there, I think, right now, just about to handle the Bundesliga anyway. But when you look at their quality and what they're hoping to do, and as a club, Bayern Munich are always looking to compete in the Champions League, they need a little bit of squad depth. Now, there's just been a bid gone in apparently around about 67 million euros, somewhere around that mark, for Luis Diaz from Liverpool. And that's what I mean by raining on the parade of anyone who thinks that because Bayern Munich are interested in Garnacho that he's going to end up going to Bayern Munich. He's not, I don't think. Unless Bayern Munich want two forwards, I just don't see where they find the money and what their finances are. And they are scrimping and scraping for 67 million euros for Luis Diaz, who is let's be honest, a better performer and a more of a reliable signing for Bayern Munich. So they've got the guarantee with, obviously, the likes of Luis Diaz coming in there, and they're not spending anywhere near 60 million quid on him. So Manchester United's hopes of selling Garnacho to Bayern Munich rest on United accepting a lower price, United accepting a price that's actually probably in reality more realistic. Like when you look at Garnacho, I've said this before, between 40 and 50 million, United are going to get this deal done. Anything above that, you're scraping around to find clubs. Plus there's the fact that Garnacho actually wants to stay in the Premier League, and there's only really Spurs, Villa and Tottenham who are interested in him. We know, and we've covered this in depth before, as you know. I just wanted to cover the news on Garnacho because, like we said, will Garnacho change his mind? That's the big question in this, and that's the story more than anything. Is he going to be open to someone like Bayern Munich if they do come in? Say, for instance, the Diaz deal didn't happen, because from what we have seen and what reports have said, Liverpool want round about 100 million euros, 85 million quid for Diaz. He's probably a 60 million pound player, 65 million pound player. But then when you say that, you look at some of the prices for the likes of Madueke, Anthony Elanga, Luis Diaz, like Mbumo and Cunha. Like Luis Diaz is up there with one of the better performers in the Premier League. Yes, maybe not having a great season last season, and Bayern Munich maybe jumping onto something there regarding a bit of unrest behind the scenes because he's put a transfer request in. But you look at that compared to Garnacho, that's the problem. So if there is anything that happens with Diaz, maybe Garnacho will be swayed away. And this is all going to come into play towards the back end of the window, because Manchester United are going to have to wait out for the last knockings. And by that I mean clubs that are out of options, clubs that are actually looking for anybody at that point of the transfer window, because all the top targets have gone. That's what United players are worth. And this is why you're also hearing the story around Malacia and what's happening there. Straight away, all I've seen on social media, when the news came out about Malacia and a potential move to the Saudi Pro League, everyone's like, what, 8 million? Is that all we can get from Malacia? Let's see the Saudi Pro League, we should be getting loads of money for our players. It doesn't work like that. And let's not forget, he is, again, surplus to requirements and nobody wants him. Manchester United has seen an opportunity here where they could potentially get 8 million out of Malacia to the Saudi Pro League, 70 grand a week off the wage bill. So that's around about 4 million a year, something like that, off the wage bill. You add that to Marcus Rashford, you're up to then 21 million in wages gone this season. And you get 8 million on top of that. You add that 8 million to the 21 million we've already made, and you're near enough at 30 million for players sold then so far. And still not one sale, apart from the Rashford loan and the wages is saved. We haven't sold anyone for that right money. Now that is better for United, because Malacia, because we only bought him cheap, has Manchester United have no debt on Malacia, so he's 100% profit basically. He obviously, anything United make goes right into the bank, and that there could be the difference from United accepting 15 million for Jadon Sancho from Juventus to make that deal happen. or subsidise the wage a tiny little bit. That's what Malacia brings to you. This is why Tyrell Malacia could play a massive part, because if Juventus are looking to, say, take Jadon Sancho, but they're haggling over a certain amount of severance pay that Manchester United have to pay him, this goes towards that to move Jadon Sancho on, because ultimately Jadon Sancho off the books and just accepting a small transfer fee for him for 15 to 17 million quid clears over 20 million a year in wages and transfer fee, more than that for Jadon Sancho alone. And Malacia's gone and his wages are gone, 4 million gone in that. So what you're looking at there ultimately is a deal for Malacia that's going to help other deals happen. And that's the beauty of it. I've checked it, I've made sure that the facts are right, I've looked it up. Malacia, we don't owe anything on Malacia. It was only a small fee anyway, but sometimes you would spread the cost out. United paid the fee up front, and then there was a few add-ons after that we had to pay for Malacia. But that there tells you exactly where Manchester United are actually at when it comes to how desperate we are and the poor business that we did before. So when you look at that, that's why Malacia is probably just as important as other signings right now. Just as important as the likes of Garnacho, Antony, Rashford and Sancho. That is absolutely huge for Manchester United, because it helps us get the other deals done. Get your comments in on that and let me know what you think about that one as well. There have been some reports that Ollie Watkins has now told Aston Villa. Now, I'm not relying on these sources yet. I'm waiting for more to come out, and this might come into the evening show tonight, to be honest. But Ollie Watkins telling Aston Villa that he wants to leave. That, what we said earlier on this morning, was probably the only way this deal actually moves forward, and what United would need to actually get movement out of Aston Villa and maybe get to the price that they want. Now, Villa can stand firm. They've got Watkins contracted in until 2028. So we're not going to get Villa buckling just because he says that he wants out. But it's a sign of what is to come, where we're actually at with this transfer. So basically, when you break down Watkins coming out and saying that he wants to leave, and like I said, there'll probably be more on this later, and we'll probably get a piece from Fabrizio Romano talking about what's actually happening with Watkins, because now we know he's fully on top of it. So we'll wait for this later to see if there is any legs in this story about Watkins. But what was said was that Ollie Watkins has come out and said that he would like to leave Aston Villa or look for a new football club, i.e. he knows United are interested and there's a lucrative offer on the table for him there at United. He wants to be part of something at Manchester United. I can only guess, like, United have maybe sold him the project or give him some certain conditions going forward. We'll wait though. I'm not saying that is 100%. I'm not relying on that source just yet and saying that is a definite and it's a go. But there is sorts of movement and rumours going around, and with everything that's happening right now, with the likes of Garnacho and Malacia, like we've just spoken about, maybe there is a little bit of movement for Manchester United in these next couple of weeks with the outgoings, because let's not forget, and it is just another story on top of everything else, Ruben wanted movement before this team got back from tour in the start of August. So let's see if anything can be done. Let me know what you think, everybody. Bringing you the content while we're out on the go here on Forever United TV. Give the video a like, make sure that you do subscribe to Forever United TV. Massive appreciation to you all again. I will be back in the studio later on with the live show, so I will see you all then. Cheers, everybody.